Another storm. This one, we've been fortunate. The accumulation was heaviest during the evening hours, and the weather seems to be tapering off now. Nonetheless, the commute should still be difficult. There's still a lot of snow on the roads, so please be cautious. Take your time. I have to commend the DOT again. Terrific job at plowing. We've all made the commute in here this morning, and it's still a lot of snow, but they've done a terrific job. The local communities, it's a little more difficult getting some of those side streets. So everybody be careful this morning. There's a lot of staggered starts out there. Just take your time on your way to work if you have to come to work, and just be careful. It does look like the storm will be concluding about 9-10 o'clock, and we'll continue to push the snow back from the roadways and make it more passable. But please be careful. Now I'd like to turn it over to the Director of Emergency Management, Dave Smith. Welcome, Dave.
Good morning. Thank you, Governor. Once again, we're here to report that through the night, our role was to coordinate and support the local communities, the state agencies. And the state agencies who were with us through the night, DOT, State Police, Department of Health, Red Cross, and all those people that work behind the scenes to make sure that those services continue to be provided, just did a splendid job. There were some spotty power outages, and the National Grid had some additional crews on tonight. They were able to respond almost immediately and get the power restored. As we walked over here, the last count I had was only about 65 customers without power. So that's pretty good under these conditions. As the Governor noted, the road conditions are passable. But as you might expect, with accumulation totals that are coming in now in the 10 to 11 and in spotty locations higher numbers, it is going to take some time for those crews, the local departments of public works, to get those secondary roads cleared off so that you can pass safely. I'd like to turn it over to Director Mike Lewis from DOT. And really, it's hundreds of people out there that work through the night that, in my opinion, are those unsung heroes. Great work for DOT. Director Lewis.
Thanks, David. To reiterate Director Smith's and the Governor's point, it is still very snowy out there. The crews have been working since about noontime yesterday throughout the night. There are almost 450 pieces of equipment out on the highways clearing snow. During the peak of the storm earlier this morning, it was very difficult to keep up with the accumulations, but we are managing to do that. It will be a very snowy commute. For those that do have to be on the highways, we would ask you to use extreme caution. Even though the highways may be clear, when you get to the exit ramps and entrance ramps, you're going to find narrower openings than normal. So use extreme caution, reduce the speeds, until we can get the highways all clear. Again, the snow should be tapering off by 9 o'clock this morning or so. It's going to be several hours after that before all of the roads are cleared to the point of normalcy. So, again, use extreme caution. Don't drive on the highways if you can avoid it. If you need to be driving, drive extra. Again, use extra caution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director. I'll just reiterate the same message, and actually yesterday I said it was this is like Yogi Berra would say, this is like deja vu all over again. We've been meeting like this all too often. Troopers have been out overnight with the local and city police departments. I commend them for the work they've been doing, but we haven't reached the rush hour yet. We had 30 accidents statewide overnight, and 7 of those were from the state police, but moreover, numerous vehicles that just spun out and ended up in snowbanks throughout the state because they were not driving as cautious as they should have been. So I'm just asking Rhode Islanders to slow down, give yourself plenty of time when you leave the house, and you need to realize that there will be some times when you're traveling, the roads will be well plowed, but then you could drive into an icy area which causes accidents. Thank you. Lieutenant Governor?
And let me also add, the other thing we need to remember, driving safely, being careful. Also be careful, be careful when you are taking care of that snow today. When you're out with the snow shovel or even the snow blower, there's a lot of snow, it's heavy snow. Take it easy. break up the work. I was out there with my shovel this morning. It's a lot of work moving that snow, and especially now you have to move it higher than you had to before. Puts a real strain on your heart, so take it easy. We will all get to work when we need to get there.
Now we'll take any questions.
The piles of snow, where you kind of putting them, miles and like the state highways and stuff like that.
Well, with regard to the state highways, obviously as it accumulates storm after storm, it becomes more difficult. One of the activities that our crews do after the peak of the storm is over, they're still out there for several hours afterwards, and they're trying to push those banks that have been created back further using the wing plows that create space for the next storm. Hopefully we won't have another one, but in case we do, we'll be making space for it. It's certainly strained, and we are going to be over our budget for the year. This storm has not been calculated yet. We're going to have to work with the governor's office on that. But it's an unusual. We've experienced an unusual winter for storm activities, but we'll keep the roads safe, budget or no. The snow removal budget for this year was approximately $10 million. We are projecting that we will go through that.
I'm sure a lot of the local communities also budgets are strained, and in tough times, councils always cut budgets and condense them down and just hope we don't have a tough winter, and that's not the case this winter. So it's even tougher this year with economic difficulties and tighter budgets, and then this frequency of storms. And by the way, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the weather people are saying keep your eye out for a few more on the way.
Any update on the school closing as far as how many days we've used and how much is left?
Well, we printed out this morning's list of closings, not limited to schools, and there were about 16 pages altogether. The majority of the schools have closed. There may be a few that have been able to remain open, but obviously it is something that our kids are talking about, and I don't know what the impact's going to be. I know that some of the schools have experienced 3 or so snow days already, and how the superintendents juggle that's their authority, but it is an issue certainly.